All right, so brain power. Ever feel like you could just use a little boost? Like just download some focus and energy.
Totally. Those days where you're like, brain, come on, work with me here.
Exactly. And you know what's everywhere these days? Lion's mane mushroom gummies.
Oh, yeah, those are popping up everywhere.
Promising to unlock, like next level cognitive function superhero
It's a
gummies.
very appealing idea. Like, who wouldn't want to be a little bit more superhuman?
Right. Who wouldn't be intrigued?
And lion's mane mushroom itself is interesting. It's not new. It's been used in traditional medicine for
Well,
centuries.
really? I didn't realize it had been around for that long.
Yeah, particularly in East Asia, so that makes me at least curious about what the science actually says.
For sure. They definitely play up that whole unleash your inner superhero thing. Sharper focus, better memory, even like a mood boost, they're saying.
Big promises.
Right. They even use these examples like Linda, the stressed student who's buried in law books, and these gummies are supposed to be the thing that gets her through exams.
Ah, yes, the classic stressed student scenario. It's relatable. And I will say, there is some interesting research coming out about lion's mane, especially when it comes to how it might help your brain work better.
Okay, so there's like actual science behind
There's
this.
some. It's got these compounds that stimulate something called nerve growth factor,
Mm-hmm.
NGF.
NGF, catchy.
Right. But basically, it's really important for keeping your brain cells healthy so they can, grow and function at their best.
So it's like brain food, but in gummy form, which they make a big deal about the whole gummy thing. Convenient, tasty, not like those, bitter herbal things.
Yeah, no one wants to choke down a mouthful of something that tastes like dirt.
Exactly. And they also keep saying these gummies have maximum bioavailability. What is that? Is that just a made-up word?
It sounds made up, but it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Basically means how much of a nutrient your body can actually use.
Oh, okay. So like I could eat a whole bag of, I don't know, spinach.
Sure, so spinach.
But if my body's not absorbing all those nutrients, what's the point?
Exactly. And they're saying that the gummy form helps your body absorb the good stuff better than, say, a pill.
Interesting. So it's not just about what you take, but how you take it.
Right. Though I will say, while that delivery method matters, the quality of the ingredients themselves is still super important.
Yeah, that makes sense. A poorly made gummy is still a poorly made gummy, no matter how bioavailable it is.
Exactly. You got it.
Okay, but they don't just stop at lion's mane. It's like a whole mushroom party in these gummies. Reishi, turkey tail, cordyceps.
A whole fungal festival?
Each one with its own supposed benefits. So a lot of it seems to be about immune support, right?
Immune support is a big one, yeah. Though the research on some of these is a little less solid.
Okay, so we've got some digging to do. Yeah, it's like, how much can we actually trust these traditional uses? Like reishi, they're saying it's great for immune support.
Yeah, reishi is a really good example of a mushroom that's been used in traditional medicine for a long time.
Right, like I feel like I've heard of reishi even before this whole gummy thing became a thing.
Totally. Especially in China. They've been using it for centuries, apparently to boost immunity, reduce stress, and even help people sleep better.
Wow, that's quite the resume.
Right. And there are actually some studies out there suggesting it might really have these immune-boosting effects. Like, it could potentially help balance out your immune system.
Oh, interesting. So not just boosting it, but like making sure it's working properly overall.
Exactly. It's called immune modulating. But, we need way more research to be sure, especially like big long-term studies to see how it actually works in the long run.
Makes sense. Okay, what about turkey tail? That one's got such a funny name. It's got to be good for something, right?
I know, right? Turkey tail gets its name from, well, it kind of looks like the feathers on a turkey's tail with those colorful rings.
Oh, yeah, I see it now.
Traditionally, it's been used for overall health, like to help you live longer.
Live longer. Who doesn't want that?
Seriously. And lately, people are looking into whether it can help support your immune system, especially if you're undergoing cancer treatment.
Oh, wow. So maybe even helping to offset some of the side effects of those treatments.
That's what some studies are suggesting, yeah.
Uh,
Like that maybe some compounds in turkey tail could help your immune cells work better and maybe even make those treatments a little easier to handle.
that would be incredible, especially for people going through something so tough.
Absolutely. But like with reishi, we need more research before we can say for sure. It's all still pretty early stages.
Okay, so another promising one, but with a big fat asterisk next to it.
Exactly.
Okay, so next up, cordyceps. This is the one they're marketing as the energy and endurance booster.
Right, like you take it and you're ready to run a marathon.
Seriously. They even mentioned ancient Chinese emperors using it, Talk about a power-up.
I know, it's a very compelling image, right?
Yeah.
This rare mushroom that grows on caterpillars in the Himalayas, giving you the energy of an emperor.
Okay, it does sound pretty cool when you say it like that.
I know. And there's actually some evidence that it might help with athletic performance, like maybe helping your body use oxygen better and reducing that feeling of fatigue.
Really? So you could work out harder for longer without feeling as tired?
That's the idea. Some studies showed that it might increase what's called VO2 max, which basically measures how efficiently your body uses oxygen when you're exercising.
That sounds promising.
It does, but we need a lot more research before we start recommending cordyceps to every athlete out there. A lot of those studies were pretty limited, and we still need to figure out the right dosage and all that.
Okay, so some potential, but maybe not quite ready for prime time.
Exactly.
So it seems like there's this mix of really interesting traditional uses and some promising scientific research, but maybe we should be a little skeptical of those big, bold marketing claims.
Definitely. It's great to be curious and open-minded, but critical thinking is key, especially with supplements. Just because something is natural doesn't automatically make it safe or effective for everyone.
That's such a good point. Just because something's been used for centuries doesn't mean it's a miracle cure.
Exactly. And on the flip side, just because we don't have all the answers yet doesn't mean something doesn't have potential. Science takes time.
Right. So it's about finding that balance, right? Between being intrigued by the possibilities, but also not just blindly buying into the hype.
You got it. It's about being an informed consumer, doing your research, and making decisions that feel right for you based on the evidence, not just marketing.
Okay, so last ingredient in this gummy cocktail, we got to talk about ashwagandha. They're calling it an adaptogen, which, to be honest, I don't really know what that means.
Adaptogen, yeah. It's a bit of a buzzword these days.
Right. But they're saying it basically helps your body deal with stress.
Yeah, that's the gist of it.
So it's like it helps your body adapt. Is that the idea?
Yeah. Basically, it's supposed to help you kind of roll with the punches a little better, stress-wise.
Okay, so less of those kind of like freak out moments when things get crazy.
Exactly. And ashwagandha has been used in Ayurvedic medicine for a long time, like centuries. Traditionally, it was used to help people manage stress and just kind of feel better overall.
Interesting. So there's like a historical track record there, which is cool. But they were also talking about this whole cortisol thing, something about how ashwagandha lowers cortisol.
Yeah, cortisol reduction is kind of a hot topic these days. And ashwagandha is often marketed as a natural way to help with that.
Okay, because everyone's stressed. So everyone wants to lower their cortisol levels. Makes sense.
Exactly. And to be fair, there is some research suggesting that ashwagandha might have an impact on cortisol. Like maybe it takes the edge off a little bit when you're stressed out.
Oh, interesting. So maybe instead of like totally freaking out, you're just mildly panicking.
Right. Maybe.
Mm.
But of course, we need more research to know for sure.
Yeah.
Especially to figure out like how much you'd need to take to see those effects and how it works long term.
And if it's different for different people, right? Because like our bodies are all kind of weird and unique.
Exactly. You got it. And the other thing is stress management. It's not just about one thing, right? It's not like you could just pop a gummy and all your problems disappear.
Oh, I wish it were that easy, though.
Right. It would be amazing.
Yeah.
But realistically, there are so many other things that play a role. Like, are you eating well? Are you sleeping enough? Are you moving your body? Those are all super important for managing stress, too.
Yeah, it's like that saying, you can't outrun a bad diet. Or maybe in this case, you can't out-supplement a high-stress lifestyle.
Exactly. Supplements, they can maybe help a little.
Yeah.
But they're not a substitute for a healthy lifestyle.
Okay, so let's bring this back to our listener. Say they're listening to this. They're intrigued by these Lion's Mane gummies. Maybe they've even tried them. What would you say to them? Like, what should they be thinking about?
Well, first of all, I'd say it's awesome that they're curious and exploring these options. But yeah, like you said, there's the marketing hype, but then there's also the science, which isn't always so clear-cut. So I think the most important thing is to be an informed consumer. Do your research.
Don't just believe everything you read on the internet.
Right. Exactly. Look for actual scientific studies, not just testimonials. And, you know, if you're considering trying any new supplement, talk to your doctor.
Oh, yes. So important. They can help you figure out if it's right for you and if there are any potential risks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially if you're taking other medications. You want to make sure there are no weird interactions or anything.
Right. Don't just self-prescribe based on Instagram ads.
Exactly. It's your health. You want to make informed decisions.
Couldn't agree more. So I think the takeaway here is be curious, be informed, and most importantly, be safe.
I love that. Perfectly said.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into the wonderful world of lion's mane mushroom gummies and all their fungal friends. We hope you learned something new, or at least had your curiosity piqued a little bit. If you've tried any of these supplements, we want to hear from you. What influenced your decision? Did they live up to the hype? Share your thoughts and experiences on our social media. We love hearing from you. And as always, thanks for diving deep with us.